On to today's agenda. So basically, I will be introducing you to Flutter, which is a cross-platform mobile development framework. Not exactly mobile development framework, because it's a cross-platform development framework. So the same code base can be used for all the platforms. So I'll be covering what are widgets, what are stateful and stateless widgets, how you can use external packages, and I'll also show you like how to make your first Flutter app. It'll be a very simple app that you can make. So what exactly is Flutter? So Flutter is a open source UI development kit by Google, and it allows you to use the same code base for multiple platforms, whether it's like mobile or web. In mobile, it can be like an iOS app or an Android app. So you just use the same code base for all the platforms. You don't have to like learn Swift to make an app for just iOS or learn Kotlin or Java to make apps for Android. So you can just use Flutter and create apps for all the platforms. So that's the best thing about Flutter. The programming language that we use in developing Flutter applications is Dart, which is pretty similar to other object-oriented programming languages. So if you are aware of like object-oriented programming concepts, then it won't like take a lot of time to learn Dart. And honestly, you don't like if you know the concepts, you don't have to exactly like go deeper into Dart to start with Flutter. So the main aim of today's workshop is to just give you like a quick intro to Flutter, and so that you can kind of get started with it. I know it will be hard to like understand everything, uh, but yeah, the main aim is to like just get a quick intro, and then you can probably start with some resources and start developing your own apps. So Flutter consists of an SDK, which is a software development kit, and then the widget-based library. And the UI elements are there, which can be used everywhere. You can also create your own UI elements. The pros of using Flutter is it's very simple to learn and use. It has a great documentation and an amazing community. There are a lot of platforms where Flutter developers are very active, and if you have any kind of doubt, you just want to get started, or like you're stuck anywhere, you can just reach out to people there, and they always reply on time, and it's just amazing. And also Flutter like has proved to like a great performance, and it is very cost effective as well. So that was about Flutter. Yeah, so something which is like the crux of Flutter is that everything in Flutter is a widget. Widget is a smallest element in Flutter. So everything that you see on your mobile, like a Flutter app, is a widget. So as I move ahead and show you like um, the example of the app, then you will be able to understand like what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what Flutter is about. Everything is a widget, and these widgets will have some state that will change. And because of the state change, you will be able to see the changes on the screen as well. So these widgets are used to build the UI. So UI is basically what you see on your app or app screen. So these widgets are used for that. And the state is the information that is associated with that widget. So when the state of the widget changes, you will be able to see the changes on the screen as well. So that's what the state is. And then there are two types of widgets, that is stateless widgets and stateful widgets. So as I mentioned, like a state is the information that is attached to a widget. So if it's a stateless widget, that means the widget is kind of static. It is just there. Suppose text like the simple text is a widget in Flutter. And if we are not making any changes to that text, we are not uh, performing any action on it, like on a button click or something, then it will remain the way it is. So that is a stateless widget. And if we make some changes, then it has to be part of stateful widget tree so that we can make changes to that widget, like maybe the text or something else inside it. So that's the main difference. In stateless widgets, we don't store any value that might change. In stateful widgets, we have a value that changes and that shows that there is some state change. And stateless widgets don't depend on any data change or any behavior change. And the stateful widgets can be updated during runtime. So the main difference is stateless widgets are static and stateful widgets are dynamic. So in stateless widgets, they're just on the screen for the UI, they for how the app will look like. But when you're using stateful widgets, then you can make some changes on the screen as well. And every time you make some changes, your widget will be re-rendered on the screen. So that's the main difference. And yeah, it's just a flowchart to explain what stateless and stateful widgets are. So what are we going to make today? We're gonna create this simple application. So in the first screen, you can see there is a background, then we have a button. We also have this image here. Uh, so this is a stateless widget, like all the widgets inside it, like there won't be any change. So we can just call them stateless widgets. And when we perform some change on a text or on, like, suppose the background was yellow and we want to make it red. So we need to have it inside the stateful widget tree so that we can make some changes. That's what it's about. Let me show you like how you can get started with it. Like if you want to code in Flutter, then first thing that you have to do is to go to the installation part, and depending on the operating system that you have, you will have to install Flutter. And then you also need an integrated development environment, that is an IDE, to code. And you can either download, like install Android Studio, or you can go with IntelliJ or VS Code. So you will have to do the basic setup, but in case you just want to experiment and see what it's about, and like you don't want to do all the installation stuff, then there's this new tool, Zap. You can it's not available to everyone, but you can apply for early access, and when you get it, you will be able to run your Flutter code on your browser. So you don't have to install anything, you don't have to do a lot of background work, though the installation part is not that difficult. So you can explore Zap. I won't be using Zap today, but I just wanted to show like what it's like. It's a very new tool, so they don't have a lot of features yet, but this is what it looks like. And as you can see, like these are the main files here. And if you have coded in some other languages, like the main file is the file which is like the entry point to the program, like your any other, like in other languages. So here we have main.dart. So this is the starting point for Flutter app as well. And then we can have other screens or other pages. So here we have my app.dart, and I'll just go through all these on VS Code as well. You can explore this, and let me jump onto VS Code and show you what like how you will create a new Flutter project. So here is the app that we're going to make today. And so on VS Code, let me quickly create a new project. So I'll create a new Flutter project, and this will be an application. So I can just name it. So this is like how we create. And when we create a new application here in Flutter, you will see like a lot of files have already been created or like initialized. So let's go through this folder structure once. So you can see like there is Dart tool. So this is like some internal file that we don't have to make any changes to, then there is this idea folder. We don't really have to touch these folders. We have Android. So if you are developing for the Android platform, then you might need some native features or like uh, some permissions from like your Android app. Like if you're just developing it for the Android device, then all those things like you can change here. Even the icon that you want, you will be able to just change those things here. And if you have coded in Kotlin or Java, like if you have previously worked on Android apps, then you will be able to like understand what these files are. Honestly, you don't have to make a lot of changes here and if you are not targeting Android devices, because most of the things that you will be working with is in this folder, that is the lib, where we have main.dart. And we all, apart from like Android, we have iOS. So these folders are basically like if you want some very specific things that you want in your app, or you are just targeting your Flutter app to iOS users or Android users. So for those things you can do. And even if it's like a cross-platform app that you will be publishing for all the platforms, there are few things that you obviously, if it'll run on an iOS device, then it'll need some like specific permission or something. So those kind of things you will have to do. Otherwise, you don't really need to touch these folders. You can just simply start coding in this folder and start creating your files. You can see Linux, Mac OS, and web and Windows as well, because it's a cross-platform framework. So you can just make changes for different platforms, like any specific thing that you want your app to do on a different platform. So we're gonna just delete these folders because we're not really focused on these platforms right now. Um, Even if I don't delete these, like it wouldn't affect my app, but it's just, it makes it a little cluttered. So I'm gonna delete them. I'll just keep Android and iOS for now. And then you can see this test folder. This is for testing, which comes at a later stage. So you don't have to worry about testing as of now. And then we have the git ignore, which is to ignore all the files when you ignore the files that you don't want to push to GitHub. Then metadata, packages, and all these files. So the other file, like apart from this folder, the another file that you will be working the most with will be pubspec.yaml. So this has all the dependencies, or if you want to use some external packages, then this is where you need to like declare all the packages that you're planning to use. It already has like Cupertino icons package, and there are some dev dependencies. Um, and like if you want to use some assets, so you need to like just inform that these are the assets that you will be using. Either you can do that by just writing like the name of all the files inside a folder images, but I'll just show you like how we'll be using assets in this app as well. So let's get started with it, and let me show you the main.dart file, which is the entry point. And here we have this main function. Okay, yeah, here we have the main function. Like in other programming languages, we have a main function where we write what the app needs to do. So here our main function is telling like we need to run this app, and this is my app. Uh, my app is a stateless widget. So stateless widget, as I talked about, are the widgets which are static, which are just there to build the UI. So a stateless widget is a class, and we are extending this class, and we are creating another stateless widget class, which is my app. So by extending, it'll just get all the properties, or like all the properties that a stateless widget has. So yeah, so my app is a stateless widget now, and then we have this build method. So stateless widget is a class, so it has a build method, and because my app extends stateless widget, so my app will get access to build method as well. And in the build method, we are returning a material app. And in this material app, we have title, theme, and this home. So this home tells what the first page of your app or the first screen of your app will be like. So here our first screen is my home page, and then we have the code for my home page, which is pretty long and a lot of other things. So this is the boilerplate code that you get when you create a new Flutter app. And when we run this app, so this is what you get when you create a new Flutter app. You will and you run it, then you will be able to see this demo homepage. And when you click on this increment here, you can see like it is increasing the counter. So here we are making some change. So that's why we are using stateful widgets. Otherwise, like if it was just a static page where we are not making any changes, we could have extended stateless widgets. But because we are making some changes here, because like there is a button, we click on it and it increases the number. So we are using stateful widget here. Right now, I'm going to just delete this part here, and I will be creating new files. Um, Let me also delete this part. So title is basically what your app name would be, and the theme is like how you want. You can have a common theme for your app. So like you can just create a theme for your app, like how the headline should look like in the whole app. So those kind of things you can do here, but I'll just delete it for now. And this is our first screen, which is my homepage. I have deleted the code, but here in my homepage, you can see we have passed a title to it, and the title you can see on the top of the screen. So we don't have a title. Like I will be deleting it for now, and probably I will change the name of this to just home. So this is what we have in our main.dart file. One thing I forgot is like the first line here, which is importing the material package. So material package allows you to make use of a lot of reusable widgets in Flutter. There are a lot of material widgets, and you must be aware of the material UI, how these UI elements look like. So basically we are importing that package, and now we will be able to use all the material widgets that are already there. We don't have to like create everything from scratch. So we have our home page, like we will create a new file, home.dart. So this is home.dart, and here you can see line here because I haven't um, given the address, or our main.dart file doesn't know about our home.dart file. In home.dart file, the first thing that we going to do is importing the material package, the same thing as here. So we can just copy it and paste it here. So we have imported the material package, and now we will be able to use all the material widgets. To start with, we can like if you have all the configurations in your IDE, like I have VS Code. So if I write STF, it'll just give me the boilerplate code for the stateful widgets. So I just need to write the name of the widget, which is home. And you can see like I already have all of it. And if I'm creating a stateless widget, I can just write STL and I'll get the code for stateless widget. And I can simply write home. Um, okay. So we have a stateless widget, like we created home here, and then we need to tell our main.dart file as well about it. So we can simply, when we go like hover over this home, like we'll be able to get this option quick fix. And here we can see we need to import home.dart. So we can simply import it, and now you won't see that red line here. So now our main.dart file knows about our home file, which will be the first screen of our app. In home.dart, uh, we have the build method, like it tells what we're gonna build on the screen. So we need to return. So here you can see we need to return another widget. So in Flutter, like everything is a widget. So this home is a widget. There is a stateless widget class, and then we are extending it. So basically, this home is also a widget, and it will have other widgets inside of it, and then kind of like it will make the UI. So here we can return scaffold. Scaffold is a widget that basically covers the whole screen. You can read about it as well in when you hover over these, like you can see all the properties and things that scaffold has. Scaffold can contain other widgets inside it, and it can have a background. So it's a widget as well, and it just covers the whole space of the screen. And inside scaffold, we can have other widgets, like inside scaffold, we can have container widget, which is simply a container, and we can give it a color. Like to give it a color, we have to write colors dot maybe this, and um, for size, we can write height, and width can be 400. So let's run this and see what it looks like right now. To run this, you can use Flutter a run command. If anyone has any question like so far, feel free to ask. I'm just waiting for it to run. So it has been built. Yeah, so you can see like we have a container. The height is 300 and width is 400. So this is how like we get started with building the UI part of it. So the app that we are trying to make today is this, and here you can see we have a background, then we have an image and a button. So we are using background and other stuff. So we need to use images, and for that we need to have another. We need to tell our app about it as well, and we can do that by adding another folder that is assets. You can name it anything, maybe images or anything else. In the assets folder, we're gonna copy the images that we're planning to use. So here we have, so these are the images that we will be using, and we have this GIF and we have the background. So we're gonna use them. And now that we have the assets folder and the images inside it, here we need to just let our app know that we are using these assets. So we can uncomment this part, and if we can give like for each image or whatever we are using, we can um, like do this either, or like do this one by one, or we can simply just do like assets and slash, and this will just tell like whatever is inside the assets folder, we can directly use it. We need to have the path, like we will write the path to the image or the background that we're using. So this is how like you just declare that you're using some assets in your app. And then when you go to your home.dart, here in the container, you can have in the container, you can have a child. So because scaffold, so like all the widgets are inside each other. So like our home is a stateless widget, and then it has a scaffold, which is the main widget that covers the whole screen. Then scaffold has a body. Then the body has container, and this container is a type of widget that can have like one child, and the child will also be a widget. So container can have text text widget, it can have a text widget, and I can simply say hello. It cannot have multiple children, like it cannot have children inside it, but there are some widgets that we will be using that can have children inside it, that is multiple widgets inside them. So it basically is forming a kind of a tree. This home, which is a stateless widget, contains a scaffold. This scaffold contains container, and this container contains another widget, which is text. Text is not widget that can have like children or a child inside it. So it's a simply kind of a just simple widget. Let me sorry. Let me run this or wait. So also while your app is running, you can use, there are two things that you can do. One is hot reload and then hot restart. So with the hot reload, you can simply see right now, like hot restart means you are starting your app from scratch. So it'll just start your app, like rebuild everything. But when you do like hot reload will simply just bring all the new changes to the app, like it will not start your app from scratch. So you can see like hi, it's at the top. So let me add some padding to this container so that you can see that hi uh, here. So padding is basically to give like some empty space around your container widget, because here the padding is edge insets dot all. So from all the sides, it will have like 8 units of space, or maybe let me add 20, and let's see what it does. So you can see like it has some space around it. So you can adjust it, like you can make it 40 and you'll be able to see what it does now. So you can see a lot of empty space around this container widget. So, but this is for all the sites. But if you just want to like define like a specific, like from left, top, right, or bottom, so you can use edge insets dot from LTRB. So in left we can have 30. From top we can have 60, and right also 30, and then bottom maybe 0. And then you can hot reload, and you can see that it has 30 here, 30, and then 60 and 0. When we add another widget, it will be just right after this container. So that's what the padding is. And let's add the background that we had. And this is a widget that can contain only one child, but in the app, you can see that we have um, a GIF, and then we have a button as well. And in the next screen also, we have 3 containers or 3 cards. So we need a widget that can have all of them inside it. So for that, we can use column. there is row and then there is column, so they can have multiple widgets inside them. So to do that, we can wrap this container or this padding widget inside a column. So when we hover over this widget, we can see a little bit about it, what it does. And then we also see this icon here. When we click on it, we can see what we can wrap this padding widget with. We can wrap it with a widget, and then we can uh, like write about, like we can just tell what widget we want to wrap this padding widget with, or we can wrap it with already like the suggested widgets. So we're gonna wrap it with a column. So now we have a column here, and then this column will have this padding widget. So if I copy this padding widget and just paste it here, so you can see like there are two widgets inside this column. So this column widget has two similar widgets inside it. So that's what we're gonna use. And let's add the background. So in scaffold, also we want to have the background. So let's wrap this column with a container. And then inside this container, we can have our background. So inside container, like we have a lot of properties, and we're gonna make use of these properties. We have decoration, we have color. So you already saw what color will do, but for adding backgrounds, we will be making use of the decoration property. And let's add decoration. Inside decoration, we need to write box decoration. And then in box decoration, we will have an image. And then we can just add decoration image. And here we need to add the path of the asset image. So the asset image, we can just add assets, and the name of our file was starwars.jpg. And inside this box decoration, we added our image. And we also need to tell, like, let's just run this like hot reload and see. So you can see we already have this background, but the thing is it's not covering the whole screen. Like you can see some empty space on the top and the bottom. So to avoid that, or to remove that, we need to add uh, fit. And in here, like we have different options like box fit dot contain cover fill. If we do fit width, so what it will do is this asset image will only fit the width of the screen. Like even if this image size is small, like if it was smaller, and the screen size was like just the size of a browser screen, then it would cover, like it will expand in the horizontal direction, but it won't expand in the vertical direction. And if we do box fit dot fit height, then it will automatically expand in the vertical direction. But we just want it to like cover the whole screen. So let's see. Yeah, so it will cover the whole screen, and you will have to like see if it works on other platforms as well. Like for, yeah, boxfit dot cover will actually cover. And if you do, okay, it won't show right now, or it will, yeah. So when you hover over this, like you will be able to see what boxfit dot cover will do. It will just um, expand in both the directions and cover the entire target box. Here our target box was container. So it is covering the whole container. Sorry. So yeah, so that's how like we set the background. And then the next thing that we had to do is add another image or like GIF and then a button. So we will remove this padding widget, these two. And here in the column, we can have multiple widgets. So the first thing that we're going to have is the image. Image.asset, we have a lot of options. We can have from asset, we can have from file, from memory, from network. If we do from network, then we simply have to write the URL. From internet, like you can get the URL of the image and add it, and it'll be just added. But because we cannot rely on the network, and like it's better to have it in your assets folder so that it loads up quickly. So we're gonna use the asset one, and here we just have to write the path. So this is our image, and let's hot reload. You can see the image here. It's a GIF, so that's why like it's behaving like this. And we can set a height and width to it. Inside image here, we can have height, maybe 300, and width can also be 300. Okay, so now you can see like if we um, adjust the size of our asset, which is 300 and 300, you can see the background has also like adjusted, like it it's not like the way it was earlier. It is not covering the target box, so it is adapting to the widget that is inside it, because this container has this column, and this column has an image whose height or width is 300. So it is adapting, this container is also adapting to this column. Like if we add some other, let me change this, let me make this 500, and you will see that okay, 500 is a lot. To maybe let's make it 400. So you can see a little bit of space in here. Let's make it 350. You can see this space here because this container has another widget whose size is, because we did not define a size for this container. If we would have, then it would remain that way. Like if container had a height and width of, let me do that. Like if suppose the height and width of the container was 400 and the width was also 400, um, then you can see like the image will just cover the container. So if we don't write height and width here, the container's height and width will depend on the widgets inside of it. So here, container, if we do not tell the size of the container, then it will depend on the widgets inside of it. So instead of using boxfit.cover, we can use boxfit.fill. So what it will do is it will just cover the whole uh, like the whole screen. Um, wait, okay. Even this won't work. Okay, we can probably have cover only. Yeah. So what we can do, like we want this container to cover this whole screen, and we are not telling the height and width because this screen size, I mean, like we are not developing just for Pixel 4. This app can run on other Android or like iOS devices, and the size of those devices will be different. So we want this container to just cover the size of those screens. So we cannot just write height and width like that we want. because then it might work on this screen, but for other screens you will be able to see some empty space or something, some other issue. So we can add constraints here, and this will help us in expanding like this container to the size of the screen. So this will just expand. Now you can see like it will cover like this container. If you open this app or run this app on any kind of device, this background or this container will just cover the whole screen size. So this is how it works. And now you can see we have what we wanted. It's just that this ref is at the top, so we want to move it in the center. And then we also need a button here. So let's do that. In column, we have some alignment options. So we can have cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment is for the y-axis. So if we do cross-axis alignment dot center and reload it. So okay, cross-axis is like x-axis. Let me comment this. And then we also have main axis alignment, and let's make it center. Yeah. So in column, the main axis alignment is for the y-axis. Y-axis is the vertical direction. And if we do main axis alignment dot center, so it'll bring this image or whatever widget to the center in the y direction. And the cross-axis alignment is for bringing or like moving the widgets in horizontal direction. So if we do cross-axis alignment dot center, then in with respect to this horizontal line or this x-axis, it'll bring it in the center. So yeah, because the center is here, so this cross-axis alignment will like not show anything specific here. Like the main axis alignment is already moving it to the center. So that's how it works in column. We also have the row. We also have row widgets that can have multiple widgets inside it, and I'll probably add one of it here just to show like how it works. In row, we can have multiple widgets, and here we can, let's have text maybe. And then we can have another text widget. So if I run this, so you can see, I'm not sure if it's visible, but it's kind of, it's here. Here you can see hi world. And it is like, there is no space. It is just at the starting point of the screen. And to like fix this, we can do cross-axis alignment dot center and the main axis alignment dot center. So in column, the main axis alignment was for the vertical direction, but here in row, the main axis alignment is for the horizontal direction. So it's just opposite of what we had. Yeah. And yeah, in column, the cross axis is, let me add this here. The cross axis, the main axis alignment is for the vertical direction. If you want to align them in terms of like where you want to position your widgets. And this is horizontal direction or x axis, and this is for y axis. And in row, main axis alignment is for x axis. And the cross axis alignment is for the vertical direction. So here you won't be able to see that change because we already have it in we already have another widget, so we won't be able to see like what happens if we do cross axis alignment dot center. But if we do like cross axis alignment dot end or something else, then we will be able to like start, end, or anything. That then we will be able to see like where our widget will go. So we don't need this row right now. We need a button. As you can see, we have a button get started. So let's add that button. To add the button, we can have elevated button. So there are different types of buttons that we can use. We have outline button, we have elevated button, and text button. In elevated button, you can see what it offers. You can have on pressed, you will have like an on pressed function. It will like tell like what happens if we press this elevated button, and then we have a child. And child, we can probably tell what this button is about. We can have a text widget, and this text will be get started. In the on pressed, we can simply have null for now. Wait. We will be completing this, like just giving an example. So right now we have this button. It's not visible because we need to like style it, add color to it. So we are writing on press, like we will tell what this button has to do when we click on it. And we have a child inside it. That child is text. And let's style this button. You can see it's yellow and has curved borders. So to style this elevated button, we can have style property, and in style property, we can write elevated um, button dot style from, and here we can write the primary color, and this will be like the background color, and we can have on primary. So this is for the text color, colors dot black, maybe colors dot black. And then we also want to make some changes to the shape of this button. So for that, we can have shape, and we want rounded rectangle borders. And in here, we have to write the border radius. So the border radius can be border radius dot circular, and here we have to write the radius. So let's reload. Okay. Okay, we are not able to see the colors. Let me wrap it with a short and see. So I'll tell you about the size box as well and what it does. In the elevated button, we just need the primary color. Let me see. Hmm. Okay, I'm not sure why the color thing is not working. Um, but like, we will have to use the styling property to get the color. Uh, let me try it with some other, like, try some other way to do that. Okay, let me just comment this part. Okay, so this is like another way to color. Like, if you just wrap your elevated button to the container, then you will be able to just get the color on your button. To style your elevated button, you have to use this. Not sure right now why it didn't work, but yeah, I'll try to fix it and maybe share the code later. So now we have like our elevated button. We can also style our text. Like we have our text widget here, and we want to add some styling. So we can simply write style, and then we can have text style. In text style, we can have color. This color can be colors dot black, and then we can have font size. Font size can be like 30, and let's reload. So you can see we have get started. And now we need to click on this button and go to next screen. So to do that, we need another file that will be our next screen. So let's just call it second.dart. And here also the first thing that we need to do is to import our material package. Let me just import material. So this is material package. And then we need to have another stateless widget because it will be just the UI. We can just write STL and get our second screen. And here also we need to return a scaffold, which will be covering the whole screen. In scaffold, we will have body, which will contain container. So here we have the container, and inside container, you can see for the next screen as well, we have a background and then we have some cards. So in this container as well, like we can simply copy it from here. We going to have the constraint and the a background. Here the background is different. So you can just change the name of the image. So here we have our second screen. To go to this second screen from the first screen, we need to make changes here. We need to tell our app like what will happen if we press on this button. And to do that, we can use navigator class. So we have navigator dot push, and here we are using material route, material page route, and here we can pass the context, and this will take us to the next screen, which is So this will take us to the next screen. We're using the navigator class, so it is used to just navigate to other screens. Like we can go to we can use this. We can actually create our own page routes, and you can explore that later. But this is what we already have in Flutter, so we don't have to do it on our own, and we can simply use it. It's simple way to just jump onto other screen. So if I click on the second screen now, we also, because we are using the second screen, like it will auto import, but you can see, like if you want to import it, you will have to write the path here. And when I click on this get started, so it will go to the next screen. The reason it turned blue is because the reason it turned blue is because this button is now active. Earlier, it was kind of transparent, or um, because it had nothing inside this on press. And let me uncomment this now and see if it'll work or not. Yeah, so now it will work because earlier this button was not active. Like in the on pressed, we did not have anything. So uh, we were not able to see the changes, but now you can see this is what we have. And to adjust the size of this elevated button, like we can adjust like the height and width. And to do that, like we can wrap it in a container or a sized box. And if we this elevated button will adapt to the widget that is above this elevated button. So if I write 300, so it will become like 300, and it'll just be inside because this container has a height 300. So this elevated button is inside container, so like it will adapt to that size. So let me make it maybe 70, and we have our button here. That is fine. We can just click on get started and go to the next screen. In the next screen, we want to have these cards where we will have some facts. So here we have our container. Inside this container, we can have child, and in this child, we can have a column that can contain multiple widgets. As you saw, in this column, we can have children, and inside children, we can have those cards. So here also, I will show what a sized box is. Let's create a card quickly. So there is a card widget already. And inside this card widget, we can have a shape, like shape, we can make changes in the shape of the card. So we can have a rounded rectangle border like we had for our elevated button as well. So here we need to write the border radius. And this can be 20. So this is our card, and inside this card, we can have child. In child, we can have another container, and this container can have height and width, and then a child. This child can be simply a text. Let's run this and see what it looks like. So you can see we have a container and it has hello world written on it. We can add some padding around this card, or maybe around this, yeah, some padding around this card, and it can be 20. So you can see, and then maybe we can increase the width to 400. So you can see like width has been increased, and let's decrease. So yeah, this is how like we create a card, and inside this we have text, and text is like just like there's no spacing around it. So we can also wrap this text inside padding and add some empty space around this text widget. So maybe 30 should work. As you can see, like hello world is now here. And yeah, so that's what it is like. These are all the simple widgets, and I will show just one um, last thing, like the use of the external packages. We have this website pub.dev that has a lot of packages that have been developed by Flutter team and also some independent developers and companies. So let's use Google Fonts, which is a package here, if we want to make use of Google Fonts in our app. So here you can read about like how it is used, and you can get the code. Like we have a text widget and we want to use Google Fonts, so we need to import it. To import it, we can just go to installing, and here you will get all the instructions. So first thing that we need to do is import. So to import this package, we have to write it here. You will see, because we did not add it in our dependencies, that's why it is showing this line. So after adding this, either you can just hover over this and you will see quick fix. When you do quick fix, you can see add Google Fonts to dependencies. Either you can click on that, or you can go to your pubspec.yaml, and here, as we had, like it has been already added, but you can simply like copy it from here and then add it here. Like it has been already added because I used a quick fix option. So that's how you add the external packages, and to use them, you can see the example here. We can use style, and then it will change the font. So let's use Google Fonts for our hello world, this one. So you can see hello world, and then we have style Google Fonts dot get font, this. So if we reload it, you'll be able to see the font change. Yeah, it has changed. And yeah, so that's how like you can make more changes when you hover over these classes and styles, and explore the packages. You will be able to learn more about it. Um, the application is pretty simple, and I hope you got the gist of it, like how Flutter works, what are different types of widgets that you can use. um, 1 hour is not enough to actually understand everything, but I hope I was able to explain the folder structure, how we import different packages and use the material widgets, what are stateless widgets and what are stateful widgets, and how you can simply like create your basic UI apps. There are a lot of things that you can explore in Flutter, and to get started with, like you obviously need to know the object-oriented programming concepts. You need to know what are classes, what are objects, and how the inheritance works. So if you want to get started with Flutter, uh, you should like go through the object-oriented programming concepts first, and then you can just learn basics of Dart programming languages. So Dart.dev is a site that you can go to. Here we have the documentation. You can find the language samples and a lot of other things. So you can go through this, and then we have our Flutter documentation, which is pretty helpful. When you start, you can start going through the user interface, and you will be able to like find all the widgets, like how you can get started with your hello world. And they also have like option to run these things here. So you can go through the Flutter documentation to get started. That was pretty much about today's workshop. I have like some resources here, some courses as well. So I'll share this PPT, and you can go through these courses. I'm not sure like how much I was able to pass on, but I hope you got the gist of it, like what exactly is Flutter and how you can get started with it. So feel free to reach out to me on Discord if you have any questions, or maybe if you want to use Flutter in this hackathon. So do reach out to me and I'll share the code and also the slides and other resources. So that was all. Thank you so much for joining.
All right, that's the end of our Flutter workshop. So if you're interested in Flutter, make sure to check out the links that Akanksha sent, and YouTube tutorials online can probably help you as well. So, all right. Thank you, Akanksha.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a
Goodbye.
great weekend. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.